Welcome, everyone. This is another GBLAN online Tecmo Super Bowl tournament video. This is brought to you by our friend Suicideking81, who pulled this game from OBS. NSV file was desynced. So he has a pretty nice layout, and I'm just going to record over the top here. He has the matchup of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the San Diego Chargers, and Ptitteri tried telling me how to pronounce his name phonetically, and I forgot already, so my apologies on that. I'll get there, buddy. So this matchup is a rematch of the Apocalypse Now of Tecmo Madison tournament game between Derek Rubel and Coconuts. Typically speaking, with the defensive strength of San Diego and the paltry offensive line, it can be difficult to run the ball in this matchup. Gary Anderson is a very solid back, but oftentimes you'll find that the offensive players that are blocking are just overwhelmed. I've seen Leslie O'Neal been able to literally popcorn the top two guys in a fluid motion on the offensive line. So far, Suicide King has been able to effectively get what he needs on the ground. We have a pass one called here. And the strength here on offensively is going to be the running speed of Vinny Testaverde. His maximum speed is actually 31. Second best in the game. He's tied with Rodney Peete of the Lions. And then QB Eagles is going to be the best max speed quarterback in this game. But that 31 maximum speed really causes problems. That threat of that quarterback run is always there, and you have to pick your poison at times. So far, Vinny has been patient. Tries to bait up the defender, and just takes so long for that ball to get there. Really not enough of a gap there to really warrant throwing that ball up. Mark Carrier is definitely the weapon on this team. And I understand why you throw that ball. Basically, you're trying to make that second player think about that situation. Now, one of the good and bad things with Vinny, he has a slower pass delivery, which can mean it's a little easier for players to JJ, but if you're trying to get that ball there in a hurry across field, it can feel like it takes forever to get there. We have a pass two called here. Vinny just keeping it on the ground. 1 yard shy. I don't know if that was intentional to go out before the yard marker. Single back formation. Looks like O'Neal has the choice of being the man defender here. Now, one thing you're going to notice here, a couple things. That, by the way, that mouse icon indicator, that's something that was cut up by the window capture on the original footage. When you see a game that was recorded in OBS and then later upload, you get to see the game literally not only in the, we have an interception there, Vinny Glenn. So a lot of time burn here. First quarter is almost gone, but nothing comes of it. Back to the thought before. You're going to see the game here as it was actually experienced by the players, leg and all. Typically, when you have an NSV file, if it doesn't desync, what you're seeing are the inputs as they were captured by the game engine, and then that information is then replicated into the emulator. We then capture the screen of the emulator. This is actually as if the game was going to be live streamed and just was recorded locally only. So, back to the action. Marion Butt's doing a good job dodging Wayne Haddock. So, strength of the Buccaneers on defense is going to be the secondary. They have a very strong secondary featuring Wayne Haddocks. If you're a football fan of the 90s, you may have never heard of the guy. The Buccaneers were rarely on any sort of televised games unless they were playing against your team. Wayne Haddix had a great year in 1990. 6 interceptions. I think 3 of them were returned for touchdowns. And as a result, when the Japanese programmers went ahead and made this game, they decided to make him a stud. They just looked in the magazine and said, oh, this guy's good. And he's actually better than Deion Sanders in this game. We have a called pass here. And Wayne Haddix in position. That throw at that quarterback against that defensive back is not a good choice. Wayne Haddix, I think, has either 75 or 81 for interception rating. Someone correct me in the comments if you would. But he's going to jump up and grab that, especially from the Chargers quarterbacks who just do not have what it takes. So we got a jump and grab here up to Reggie Cobb. Big Reggie Cobb is playing at the tight end position right now, going down the field. Called play again. This time tries to throw it to Anderson. And ball's dropping. That's probably for the better. Second down, single back formation. Dennis Byrd on defense. I see that Ptitteri is mixing it up here, but nice throw there from Testaverde, and we're knocking on the doorstep. Pass 4. Again, this time not called. And we have ourselves a touchdown to Carrier. That play is deadly if you don't have enough. If there is not a defender covering wide receiver 1, you're going to be in trouble on that play on defense against the goal line. And so often that's the case where that receiver is sitting wide open. And the part of the reason why that's so tempting is oftentimes people are tempted to use a linebacker that close to the goal line on defense. So Bernstein with the return. You can go with Bernstein at the 44 running speed, or you can go with Arthur Cox, who has, I believe, 63 hitting power. Both are solid choices. Condition, ball control can play a factor there, who you might use. So we have a fumble here picked up by Harry Hamilton, and really good zigzag there from Suicide King. Call him Gerald here for the rest of the game. Gerald getting away early, getting a little Tecmo luck on the side there from the Tecmo gods. Ptitteri's got a uphill climb here. Bernstein again on the return. Really nothing fancy there up to the 10. Got to get some work done with Marion Butts, and that's going to take a lot of time off the clock. And run 3, something you would think that perhaps in the situation needing to drive down the field with not a lot of time that might be calling pass here, but Suicide King was all over his head here. But now we've got a situation. Nice gain by Butts here. It didn't take. We got about a minute left on the clock, and it did accelerate the correction here. I don't know if he meant to go out of bounds there. He was just trying to not waste time. Again, I don't know who's got the tapping advantage. I'm going to guess possibly Suicide King. I'm looking there. He's got 10 on that drone. That's got to be pretty high. Up and A gets the first down running at Haddix here. And I don't like Tolliver is just running backwards here. And in this situation, you got to put the pickle in if you're not going to kick the field goal. So, field goal attempt should be incoming here. As much as you want to get that touchdown, getting on the board, you don't know what's going to happen in the second half. Get some points on the board and see what you can manage. Haddix comes flying in. Took a while, multiple passes there for the arrow, but Carney drills it in. And Cobb will get a chance to bring this back, and chances are he's just going to go ahead and run out of bounds. The kickoff return in the game is not too good for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's okay, but the strength is going to be that punt return. So we have ourselves a 14-3 game. Looks like Tolliver is going to stay in the game. And Tolliver is going to be useful when you have, guys that are open. The issue is that if there's an overthrow and the defender ends up behind a guy, that pass control is so poor that high risk of interception. And it's hard to get burn routes against. Nice completion there to Quinn Early. Very dangerous pass there. Crossfield, lucky that it didn't come back and maybe get covered. It's even hard to get burn routes against Haddix, who can cover so much ground. But does get him to come up here, and we have a tapping situation. Fumble on the ground. We didn't really see who won that tap. Bounces back in the field of play. Seems like forever. Harry Hamilton again with a play. So Tecmo gods are still favoring Gerald here in this matchup. Gary Anderson's in bad. Looks like Ron Hall being checked on as well. Anderson even in bad is usable, but obviously the ball control can become a liability. Still have the blocking from Cobb. Might be a little bit harder to get away from guys like Leslie O'Neal. And he puts Cobb for the, which is going to strengthen the second running play. So runs down with Anderson, nursing a 14-3 lead. I don't know how often he'll be leaning on Anderson. My recommendation with him would be to run to the sidelines and try to keep it out of the middle of the field. And I don't know if Ptitteri's just getting frustrated there to really rush that decision making there. Carrier's wide open. And very easy touchdown here for Gerald. No one went with Carrier. I don't know if he called pass thinking there might be someone there to go with him. But I think it's a little early to just start taking chances like that. So 21-3, this is getting pretty ugly here. Got to do something on this drive, and you got to do it quickly. And as player 2, it's very difficult to get the ball back. So that's the one thing that, despite all of the modern corrections we have to the Tecmo ROMs, is the way that onside kicks work has not been corrected. And Brewdog had a nice graphic that illustrates why that is. It has to do with the position of where the ball starts off when the ball is kicked. And went through a simulation, and it was something to the tune of about 0.5% of the time you could get an onside kick return as player 2, and went through thousands of simulated onside kicks. I bet that was really exciting. I hope you watched paint dry while I did that too. But useful information for the rest of the community. And of course, local play, you have the additional concern of stats that are not correct. So we've called run 3 here. Basically what we have here is Gerald saying, I'm not going to let Marion Butts beat me here. Does a nice job of clogging the hole up. And Butts runs out of bounds again. And I just didn't... I know he's fumbled already, but leaving a lot of yards on the... he probably could have got another 5 yards on that play. Very risky throw, almost in jumping range. Vlasic would have been safer throw there. Tolliver, his trajectory is just too low, and it could be easily intercepted. And we should be seeing potentially Vlasic throws into the end zone despite the coverage of Haddix. There's just not a whole lot of time here. So looks like he's going to stick with Butts here. And again, going out of bounds prematurely, the defender was not making contact with him. And I think you have to do this here with Tolliver and Bad. He's too much of a liability with his pass control. You don't have any JJ opportunities really with that quarterback, not in the traditional sense. And I think Vlasic has got to either dump it off or run here, and he dumps it off. And this looks like a really nice sustained drive. The problem is it's just taking too long, and Gerald's going to try to keep everything in front of him. So on paper, it looks good. In the meantime, we're coming down in about 3.5 minutes. Dangerous throw. I understand why you make it, but might have been an opportunity to maneuver and outflank someone on that with a little more QB movement. And Suicide King, Gerald gets some help from his defenders. Pass 2 is called. Looks like run was called on defense, and those defenders crept up and just could not get away. So Butts gets the first down there with the run, gets out of bounds, and this drive continues. 3:13 remaining in the fourth quarter. Run 3 is called, and Haddix does a really good job of avoiding. None of those blockers go for him at all, and then suddenly it's instead of 3-on-2, it's 2-on-1. Nothing doing on run 1, and we've got pass 4 here. And interception there. And the thing with that, you have to be able to put pressure on the man defender by running one direction and threatening to run for a touchdown or significant gain on that play. If you just run backwards, there's not enough field to spread out the defender because they run so much faster, especially with Wayne Haddix. So Suicide King throws it back to the Chargers here. We got a called play. It looks like we may have another fumble here. Called play. Tim Newton is breaking loose. And when you're juiced like this, really hard to catch up to that lineman. So Tim Newton fulfilling a lifelong dream, scoring a touchdown in the NFL. Dreamt about it since he was a boy. And we have a wide open thrashing here by Gerald. So. And Ptitteri is definitely shown that he can play here and has made not terrible decisions in this game for the most part, but at times we'll take a chance. It's just not a high value risk. Risk management is a big part of Tecmo, and he'll learn to figure out, should I throw against this guy or not? Should I take the sack and that sort of thing? Gerald is a Tecmo veteran, and if you leave openings for him, he's going to go ahead and take advantage. So at this point, they're just playing for point differential in the tournament. Vlasic goes back, lets it go up to Quinn early. Not sure where Anthony Miller is on the field right now, but it doesn't matter. That pass is completed. Nice job there. And looks like Gerald is able to. I would probably kick a field goal here just for point differential. I don't know what Ptitteri's record is right now. It may not matter, but nice juke there. And not enough. A good game, both Gerald and Ptitteri. Thanks so much for getting this uploaded. Appreciate you guys getting these games in. Not a bad game initially. It's just some of the luck got away. 2 fumbles on called plays that went for touchdowns. You take those points off the board, and it's certainly a different looking Tecmo game there. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down, and leave comments if you want to discuss anything you saw in today's game or answer any of the questions that I put out there for you. And if you like Tecmo Super Bowl and you want to see more of this online tournament, hit that subscribe button and you'll get notified when we have more videos being uploaded, which right now multiple videos are being uploaded daily. So lots more content out there, and we thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time on GBLAN Tecmo.